Welcome to Venus Transmissions. I'm Sat Avtar. 3 ways to get your feminine energy ignited, to wake it up, to step into your power in that feminine grace and feeling elegant, alluring, beautiful for ourselves, within ourselves. So firstly, I want you to just check your energy right now. And as you're watching this video, have you connected with this video and starting to watch it, and do you hear this little voice inside your head that's telling you that you're not enough and that you have to watch this video because you have to change or you have to be more? Notice if you feel that or hear that, and what is your energy doing right now? And if there's any anxiety or any self-judgment, say to yourself, I accept myself just the way I am. Because that is one of the most important things to igniting your feminine energy. Although it's not one of the 3 things that I actually wanted to share today. We may have a bonus, so make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video. VenusTransmissions.com for my free 5-day voice embodiment challenge, waking up this voice. This is a spiritual course, a yogic course, but also looking at some traditional voice warm-ups. I also have another course online with 12 videos and a 50-page ebook, all on VenusTransmissions.com. You can work with me as a coach, aquarianyogi.net. And I'll tell you more about that at the end. That's to up-level your energy and become super, super powerful. Okay, so the 3 ways that we can ignite our feminine energy, that energy that is going to help us be magnetizing what we want and feel really, really good. So the first thing is, and I've said this in other videos before, and it's an important thing to remember because we need to keep, peeling off the conditioning to remember we need to be able to receive. A lot of us are just shut off from receiving from even like God and soul, never mind just in life. How often do we receive things and we feel like it's conditional? We immediately feel like we have to do something for it, or there's some part of us. For me, I've had a couple boyfriends that they will pay for everything, and it's not something I require. I always offer, but they've been raised in such a way that they feel that it's, their chivalric duty as a man to show these supports and politeness, but it also makes them feel good and it makes them feel powerful. And we need to remember that. We need to remember, why do we feel so disempowered when we receive? Because in the past, we have been trained and programmed to receive in a way that was very disempowering. I was thinking of the Sense and Sensibility movie where Emma Thompson says to Hugh Grant, they're talking about how he wants to go be part of the clergy and not a banker or a barrister. And she says how lucky he is because as a woman, she's not even allowed to earn her living. And even though so much has changed in all these years, those patterns are still in our subconscious to a degree. And you look back even, 40 years ago, women couldn't get credit cards without being married. So much of our value was based on being given things, but it wasn't in a way where usually it was like an obligation. Not always, but when there's harmony in the feminine and masculine, and when there's harmony in all of us, because we're all receiving and giving in a way, we are able to know that we deserve to receive. And to ignite your feminine energy, to become a magnet, we need to be able to say, yes, I receive this, and just feel how good that is in the heart and in the body when you accept that you're worthy of that. Number 2, saying no. It ties into number 1 in some ways, because if you have situations where people are giving you things and you feel obligated, you won't say no when it goes against, what you feel you're comfortable with. And, looking back, I keep seeing this image of women in the 50s who did everything in the home and were expected to do that, but in so many ways weren't allowed to have their own opinions, their own life. And this was something that, women judge other women for too. And that's why these things have been perpetuating, is because we allow that. We have to learn to say no. Think of how many women and how many situations happen because a woman doesn't know how to really say no. Because she's staying in a situation she's not comfortable with. She's abandoning herself. And it can be as little as something of, you're cooking dinner, you just don't want to do it. There's just something that you don't want to do and you don't know how to say no. I say these things in videos and I repeat them because they're so important. And this is something that we all actively work on. It's not something that you necessarily get to feel okay with on the first try. But when you say no, what you're really doing is leaving a space open for something else to come in. And it is really magical the way when you say no, people try harder to support you, to give to you, to be there for you. They respect you more. It is magical when you do that in an empowered way. That's why I teach voice a lot. It's so important. And it's not just about the throat. I mentioned before, it's about the solar plexus chakra, the root chakra, coming into alignment. If we cannot say no, we're lost. We're not in our own power. There's so, we grow up being taught to, I don't want to say be little machines, but the things that are really important, that really help us through life be empowered and individuals and in our uniqueness are not taught. We think that, we don't have a good voice, or we're not creative, or we're not artistic, or we're not this or that. But we all have a God-given, beautiful, unique voice. Everyone's voice is different. Everyone has a story. So we need to learn how to use ours. And no is part of stating our boundaries. It's like when you say no, God says yes. Remember that. Think to times, is there anyone in your life where they've just, they're doing things all the time for other people? Did it necessarily make you care about them more or respect them more? No. Was it really helpful? How many people stay in toxic relationships because they don't know how to say no? My mother stayed in a super toxic relationship. And the crazy thing is that she could have gotten out of it so many times. And she had so much. But her mindset was so broken down and she was so disempowered. And my mother was a force. So it's important to say no, to walk away and trust that God will fill the gap. 3. This is more about your feelings, but what you can do on the outside. And I'm not saying that you have to adhere to certain things, but doing things. If gardening makes you feel connected to the feminine, if it makes you feel creative, if it makes you feel that flow of energy here, like a woman. For me, I love wearing puffy sleeves and I grew my hair long. I decided when I was in my early 20s, I had short hair for the longest time. I was still very feminine, graceful, but I wanted this goddess look, and that's what I did, and it makes me feel elevated. It's not the root of my radiance, but it's one piece of the puzzle. Maybe it's warm baths, scented candles, fabric, the way things feel. We have the ability to feel textures and taste food. I equate the feminine energy with almost like luxury and bliss and sensuality. And it's not strictly has to be for women. Sensuality is, it's like you're walking alongside the mother, that creative energy, that it's like attention, but attention where someone wants to give to you, wants to support you, versus a more masculine sort of attention, which is a more going out, getting, taking, doing. Taking is not maybe the best word, but doing. I was listening to someone else yesterday talk about how there's some women who they're ultra feminine, but you think that the feminine woman is the one that does all those feminine things like clean their house or take care of certain things, but it doesn't necessarily make them feminine. And then there's other women who don't wash a dish and they're ultra feminine. And it's not necessarily about the clothes that you wear, but that can be it. Try different things, try different styles. You know, high heels kind of suck, but I do like wearing them every now and then because there's something in them. And by the way, years ago, men used to wear them too. They had heels as well on their shoes. So it wasn't just a female thing, especially when you go back to France, pre-Regency area, Rococo area. You know, men are all decked out with colors and textures and lace. And you think about that. And I mean, think about the French language and the French culture. It's very feminine if you look to the past. And it wasn't just for women. It was something that everyone, you know, that sensuality, that enjoyment of life, enjoyment is it as well. Enjoying life. What are the things in life you can be, do, wear, experience, and try that connect you to that feminine energy, that make you feel full with yourself? That's what the feminine is. It's feeling like your cup is full and your presence is what gives. Your energy is what is giving. Your peace, your love with yourself. Like the ocean, she's just wave after wave. She doesn't stop. She doesn't really do, except for that movement. She's just being. She's just being herself, radiating, and that is everything. So I hope this short video has inspired you. Take a moment to think how you can improve on these 3 things or 4 things and what you want to do. And remember to accept yourself. And right now on aquarianyogi.net, my yearly membership is on sale. You can try it for a week. If you don't have a spiritual practice or a meditation practice, you need to have one as a woman. We are spiritual beings. We are such a force. And if we are not sitting to connect with ourselves every day, at least for a few minutes, taking time once or twice a week to do a longer practice, you know, we have to be in love with ourselves. And that is the most powerful feminine energy you will ever create within yourself. And you can only do that when you sit with yourself. aquarianyogi.net. I look forward to your comments. Please leave them in the below. What things you do that make you feel inspired and feminine and beautiful.